Hey guys, how you going? Hey guys, are you worried about 5G or EMFs? Well, I'd like to introduce you to the sponsor of this video. It's a business who supports the truth. It's EMF harmonized and they sell EMF protection technology. It's like Tesla technology. The technology filters out the harmful RF radio frequency waves and has been scientifically proven to do so. As we use our computers, phones and tablets, the EMFs damage our DNA. In other words, consider getting some EMF protection from the link below, as you'll protect yourself, you'll help the growth of my channel, and you'll help fellow truth supporting businesses. And just so you can see the products for yourself, this is the products. And it gives you, even the website will give you a lot of information. So if you'd like to check it out, the link will be down below. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate your support. Hey guys, before I start today, I'd like to thank Yolanda. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Got a little card in the mail and it was lovely. I really do appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to pretty much do the same thing I did yesterday. I'm going to start off with Twitter and I'm going to go into who Scott Morrison is. Okay. Dano and others liked 3 days, 3 nights. Next up, as the tide shifts from Biden to Trump, you'll see thousands of celebrities and media traders claim Trump is stealing the election. We want all these traders on the record undermining confidence in this election. Insurrection Act needs insurrection first. And is that already in my bookmarks? Okay. Okay, I've just put it in there. Then from 3 days, 3 nights again, Thanksgiving comms. Corn was pardoned today. Did Corn Pop take them all down? COB was sentenced to life at a poultry farm rather than death, aka life in prison. We don't know who these represent, but COB fits nicely with 3 presidents: Clinton, Obama, and Bush. Gobble gobble. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. By the way, if I forget to mention it, that's why I'm going to say it today. And would I be correct in saying that is Thursday? I'm not sure. You guys can let me know down below. From Major Patriot, we have the algorithm. MZRT big meeting. Cell phones left at door. +8. 5 political, 1 former Intel director, mask and spin, IDEN friendly insiders, MSN support, plus talking points. Shift the narrative, fail. We hear you, we have the algorithm. Thank you at Snowden, learn chess. Down she goes. Nobody escapes this. Nobody. And I can sort of see that from Malcolm Roberts. The WEF's Great Reset means you'll be forced to eat lab-grown fake meat and assume that they will also think it will make you happy. Oh, God, okay. Let's have a look from the Economic Forum here,
those
hey?
Beautiful cats. We analyze the different components that make those beautiful cuts and try to figure out which are the key components that we need to mimic in order to achieve those beautiful cuts of meat. We identified 3 main components: the muscle, the blood, and the fat. These are the components that we need to mimic in order to reach the perfect, beautiful steak.
Print?
Our technology can create whole muscle cuts just as a cow can produce that in a much more efficient way with a lower cost, and of course it's much better for the environment.
This is the biggest load of propaganda I think I've ever seen in my life. You have got to be joking. All this rubbish about climate change and deforesting for cattle is a load of BS. Yeah, they can shove that right where the sun doesn't shine, because I won't be eating any fake meat, thank you very much. And I do go to a butcher and I make sure I ask them where they get their meat from. And if I could actually go to a farm to get it, I probably would. Okay, from CJ Truth. From Joe M on Parler. It says, we're in the midst of a second revolutionary war. Our General Washington is President Trump. At the moment, the weary soldiers hear something they don't understand. They put down their muskets and go home. There is the Delaware. It's a stone throw away. Hold the line. Get back in the damn Durham, and let's finish this. And I'm ready. I'm here till the end. I will not back out. I will not back down. And all I want is the truth. That's all I want. From Ron, Code Monkey, who can access the ballot images? What form are they saved in? Can they be deleted? Can they be seen and tampered with before any official adjudication process starts? And then this from Dr. Shiva Ayadurai, an MIT PhD inventor of email. Okay. It's unlawful to certify any election that cannot be verified when the Secretary of State destroys ballot images in violation of federal law, as done by William F. Galvin in Massachusetts. I just filed for an injunction to stop certification of the US Senate race in MA in Massachusetts. Wow. Defendant Galvin ordered that electronic voting machines in Massachusetts must delete ballot images after using the ballot images, or also known as ballot scans, to tabulate the vote in the elections just held for the Republican primary in September 2020, and the elections for US Senate November 2020, in which plaintiff Dr. Shiva, I'll just say his first name, was a candidate. This act of deletion violated 52 USC 20701 and 20702. Chain of custody has been broken. No transparent audit of the ballot images used for tabulating the vote count is possible, and the declared numbers are unreliable. Only a hand count of the paper ballots submitted by voters in both the primary and the Senate races can restore the credibility of the vote count. An order restraining defendant Galvin from certifying the electronic vote count before conducting a transparent count of the paper ballots is necessary to ensure integrity of the process in Massachusetts. Plaintiff Dr. Shiva seeks an order from this court enjoining defendant Galvin from certifying the election results for the 2020 Republican primary race and the 2020 US Senate race before defendant Galvin conducts that's it. Okay. But still very interesting. And I think there's one more. Awakened Outlaw. National Emergency Declaration plus wartime powers. President equals deep state. In trouble. Okay. Let's go and have a look at who Scott Morrison is. Okay, he was born in Waverley, Sydney, New South Wales, the younger of two sons, born to Marion Neesmith and John Douglas Morrison. His father was a policeman who served on the Waverley Municipal Council, including for a single term as mayor. Morrison's maternal grandfather was born in New Zealand. His paternal grandmother was a niece of noted Australian poet Dame Mary Gilmore. You wouldn't believe how much these people are interconnected. Morrison is descendant from William Roberts, a convict who was convicted of stealing yarn. Yeah, sure. More likely a Freemason. Okay. Some reports suggested grew up in Bronte. Brief career as a child actor. Oh my goodness. But footage to confirm or refute this has not been found. That he was an iconic... Okay. He attended Sydney Boys High School before going on to complete a Bachelor of Science honours degree in Applied Economic Geography at the University of New South Wales. Okay, and he completed studying theology at Regent College in Vancouver, Canada. He contemplated it, but instead chose to enter the workforce. Okay, let's look at Sydney Boys High. A little crown on top. It's in Moore Park, Sydney. Let's have a look at some of the... do they have any notable alumni? It's produced numerous prominent alumni referred to as Old Boys. Many graduates are active in alumni organisation such as the Sydney High School Old Boys Union, the High Club and High Rugby Friends. Wow. People educated at Sydney Boys High School. And there's 78 pages. Jack Thompson. Walter Abram. Daniel Azani. Marcel, can't say the name, Brian Beaumont. Bruce Beaver, Henry Bland is a public servant. Richard Bonnier, yeah, whatever. Ronald Bracewell. John Brass. Graham Clark is a doctor. Russell Crowe. Okay. Wow. Bob Dwyer, Marcus Enfield, David Flint, Glenn Fraser, Hans Freeman, Archibald Gilchrist, Ian McLaughlin, Ross Golan, Henry Harris, scientist, James Hayne, writers. See, they keep it all. They make sure they've got everything, and a chemist there as well. They make sure they cover everything. What they do is they groom certain students. And when I was talking about the DMLA that the Bush Telegraph with Karen Brewer was talking about, what the DMLA is they're sons and daughters of Freemasons, and they are abused when they are young, and they are taught to abuse others. And apparently they have their minds completely broken like MKUltra victims, and then reprogrammed into being narcissistic. Now, this is just about everybody that we know, and honest to God, when I was listening to Karen Brewer from the Bush Telegraph this morning, it looks like there are a whole lot of them. And they turn out to be journalists, judges, actors, rugby players, cricket players, musicians, you name it. Okay, so who have we got here? We've got Andrew Goodwin, the chemist, university research professor. It's another thing they do is they turn some of them into teachers so that they can repeat the same behaviour. Australian Professor of Medicine at University of Oxford, who led pioneering work on cancer and human genetics in the 2000s. Jim Haynes is a writer and broadcaster. Apparently he's funny, a humorist, songwriter and historian. He received a Medal of the Order of Australia. Okay, if you get that, you're really not a good person. James Heen, Was an army colonel and brigadier in the First World War. Jeremy Hemans, co-founder and CEO. You see how these people... Peter Healy, judge of the Federal Court. Bruce Hopkins, Australian Rugby League player. Archibald Howie, politician, Scottish-born Australian politician. Herbert Eric Hubbard, Australian-born geophysicist living in Britain. Oh, wow. Look at this. Peter Michael Jacobson, retired judge of the Federal Court of Australia. Most of these are from Freemasons, if not Freemasons themselves. Once they've been abused enough, they get... Oh, this is just... I actually had my mind blown with the Bush Telegraph and Karen Brewer. I'll put her link down below for her channel, because she's the one who started me doing... And this is one of the most interesting things to look at, guys. No matter where you are in the world, because every country is the same. She was pointing out New Zealand this morning. So please, if you're in New Zealand, you need to go and watch this lady. She knows what she's talking about. And the only thing I can say is that some people will turn on their own people. But we don't know which ones. So until then, assume they're all bad. But do this with all your own politicians. It doesn't matter what country you're in. I think you're going to find the same. They go to the same schools and go down in Wikipedia. It's just Wikipedia, just the general Wikipedia on the internet. Search their name, go down to notable alumni from the same school they're in. Or look up the school. Who else have we got? Okay, Peter Healy. We had... Yep, them. Peter Jacobson was the judge. John Jobling, Frederick Jordan. Some of them are really old, but was an assistant bishop in the Anglican Diocese of Sydney. Brian King. John Kingsmill, Australian author, actor and public speaker, of course. George Lavenders, global television and record executive. See, how do you think people... You remember Hey Dad? And this is pointed out by Karen Brewer in the Bush Telegraph today. Do you remember Hey Dad and the guy who was charged with pedophilia? The father of Hey Dad? Well, how do you think he got away with it for so long? Because they all cover up for each other. Colin Love, chairman of Rugby League International Federation in New South Wales. Ted Mack, politician. Michael Marmot, FBA, Med Sci, FRCP, professor of epidemiology. Robert McCready, May, Australian scientist who was chief scientific advisor to the UK government, president of the Royal Society, and a professor at the University of Sydney and Princeton University. He held joint professorships at the University of Oxford as well, and it will go on. Sir John Gilbert McLaren was senior public servant, commissioner on the Public Service Board, High Commissioner's Office in London. Jack Metcalf, Australian athlete. George Miller, Australian filmmaker. Filmmaker. Mad Max. Okay, we've got Sen Mitsuji, is an Australian Japanese actor and model. Okay. What was it about Brave New? He starred in the Peacock series Brave New World. Jamie Morgan, tennis player. Scott Morrison, we know who he is. Lionel Murphy was an Australian politician, barrister and judge. Who else? Emmett Nair, Australian professional basketball player for the Hawks of the National Basketball League. Who have we got? Earl Page, Australian surgeon and politician. A soldier. who was a member of Z Special Training Unit in the Second World War, Operation Jaywick and Operation Ramau. He was apparently captured and executed by the Japanese. And he was a nephew of Australian Prime Minister... Paul Ronald Pearce, another Australian politician. John Pilger, Australian journalist, writer and documentary filmmaker. Oh my goodness, this just goes on and on and on. This is why I was fascinated this morning. John David Pryor is an Australian musician, composer and producer, recognised for his work with Matt Finish, Adrian... I haven't heard of half of these people. Coca-Cola. Wicked Beat Sound System, Kevin Borich and Dale Barlow, never heard of them. Renee Rifkin. Remember him? Chinese-born Australian entrepreneur, investor, investment advisor and stockbroker. He was convicted of insider trading in 2003 and sentenced to 9 months of periodic detention. Can you understand now why Scott Morrison signed that the paper to not release the pedophiles in Parliament? Because all these people cover for each other. Australian diplomat, and this one was Australian British anatomist, Egyptologist. He believed in the idea that cultural innovations occur only once and they spread geographically. Another judge. Rugby player. Charles Gordon Stone, Australian rugby player again. Bernard Sugarman, Australian barrister. Jack Thompson, the actor. Alfred Jacobs, Dutch-Australian number theorist, for many years on the mathematics facilities of the University of New South Wales and Macquarie University. Alan Waddell was an Australian walker, or Waddell. Sir Alan Stewart, a distinguished Australian diplomat. Dr. James Webb, Australian politician. Danny Wilder is Australian sports gossip reporter. Another thing I heard about some of these people too is they are interbred. They breed with their cousins and they keep doing it. And also, this is interesting, that the reason why Jacinta Ardern's jaw is the way it is actually a medical condition from interbreeding. But please go and watch The Bush Telegraph with Karen Brewer to find more information out on that, because that was interesting. As I said, I'll put her link down below for you guys. Got Danny Wilder, who's Australian sports gossip reporter. He worked at 9 News. Did the Footy Show. And the more you learn about this, the more you realise how much trouble we're in Australia. And that was the Footy Show guy. Okay. Arthur Wesley Ween, Australian soldier, translator and museum librarian. Chris Whittaker, rugby union coach, former international player. Anthony William Whitlam, QC, is an Australian lawyer who served as a politician and judge. He's the son of Gough Whitlam. Do you see? Senior Peter Wilinski was a senior Australian public servant and ambassador. He was a champion of women's rights and equal opportunity. Jesus. Sir James David Wolfenson, Australian-American lawyer, investment banker and economist who served as the 9th president of the World Bank Group. Great. John Hayden Wooten, QC, is an Australian lawyer and legal academic and the founder of the University of New South Wales Faculty of Law, of which he was the foundation chair. What did I say about foundations? Eric Arthur Frederick Worrell, MBE, was an Australian naturalist, herpetologist and writer whose collection of snake venom was essential in the production of snake antivenom. Okay, so let's go back to, this was Sydney Boys School. I wanted to go back and see who his father was and mother. Okay, that's his mother, was an Australian writer and journalist known for her prolific contributions to Australian literature and the broader national discourse. Where did it say his father? There. Okay, he was a former Australian police officer and mayor for Waverley. His name was John Morrison. He was a police officer for the New South Wales Police Force when he rose to the rank of Chief Inspector and local government politician who served as an alderman, deputy mayor and mayor of the municipality of Waverley. He's the father of Australian Prime Minister, will be, yep. He was born in Waverley, the son of Douglas Charles John Morrison and Gwendolyn Noble Webster. He was called into the Australian Army. Okay, what else can we find? Okay, let's see where it won't tell you where he went to school. Will it? No. Okay, it doesn't tell you where he went to school. Let's look at, hang on, search Wikipedia for Daniel Andrews. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just go back to search. Because again, it brought up all sorts of people. Daniel Michael Andrews, born 6th of July 1972, is an Australian politician and the current Premier of Victoria, State Labor Party. Okay. He has represented, I can't talk today, the Legislative Assembly of Mulgrave since the 2002 election, and Minister in the Barracks and Brumby governments. Okay. Early life. He was born in Williamstown in Melbourne. Family moved from Glenroy to Wangaratta. He was educated at the Marist Brothers Galen Catholic College. Great. Let's have a look at their notable alumni. Have they got any? Notable Marist Brothers. Brother Ignatius O'Connor, founder of Marist College, Ashgrove, Queensland. Brother Walfred, founder of Celtic Football Club, Glasgow. Brother Ferdinand de la Fuente, one of the martyrs of Begobe, I can't say that. Brother Sean Salmon, former Superior General of the Marist Brothers. Brother Charles Howard, former Superior General, and in 1997 he was declared a member of the Order of Australia. Let's have a look what the Order of Australia is. National Order, all living Australian citizens are eligible. Sovereign Queen Elizabeth to my backside. It was established on the 14th of February 75 by Queen Elizabeth. as a way to recognise, in other words, promote the bad people. So it's knights and dames, and we can tell they're all full Freemason rubbish. Okay, well, let's go back again and have a look at, because there was two different, his school was also, let's look at Galen Catholic College, because they're under different names. Okay, it's a Morris Brothers senior campus, years 11 and 12 for both male and female. Most of its students came from the long-established St Joseph Girls College and Champagnat Boys College, an agricultural boarding school. These two schools amalgamated and formed the current Galen College. Okay, this school is a member of the Catholic All Schools Sports Association. What else have we got? Notable alumni: Daniel Andrews, Chris Nash, Australian rules footballer, Ben Reid, Australian rules footballer, and Sam Reid, Australian rules footballer. Okay. What else have we got in here that we can search? Monash University. You have the square. It's a Melbourne university, and it's named after the prominent World War I general, Sir John Monash. Has a number of campuses, even one in Malaysia. Monash also has a research and teaching centre in Prato, Italy, a graduate research school in Mumbai, India, and a school in Suzhou, China. Whoa, okay. So they're right into it. Who else have they got a notable alumni? Vice Chancellors, admissions rankings. Wow, this is a long. Notable alumni and staff. Bill Shorten, Daniel Andrews, Richard DiNatale, Josh Freiberg, Adam Bant, Anna Burke, Boydono, I can't say that, is an Indonesian economist and former politician. He is 11th Vice President of Indonesia. Simon Crean, Gillard, from the Rudd and Gillard government. David D. Cresta, from Governor of Victoria. Lim Guan Eng, former Minister of France. Robert Doyle, former Lord Mayor of Melbourne. Marlene Moses, United Nations Ambassador for Nauru. Oh my goodness. This just gets more and more interesting. Graduates in scientific fields include Alan Finkel, Chief Scientist of Australia, Ian Meredith, Global Chief Medical Officer and Executive Vice President, Boston Scientific, Tim Flannery, Scientist, Ecology and Activist, Brad McKay, Doctor, Author and Television Personality, Tilman Ruff, Founding Chair of International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, Infectious Disease and Public Health Physician, and Ranja Srivastava, oncologist and author. Doug Chappell, comedian and actor. Dave Williamson, playwright. Andrew Daddo, actor, voice artist. You know who Andrew Daddo is, most Australians do. Graduates in other fields include Peter Costello, businessman and longest serving Treasurer of Australia. Ian McFarlane, economist, Governor of Reserve Bank of Australia. George Pell, Australian Cardinal of the Catholic Church. Anne Ferguson, Chief Justice of Victoria. And Marilyn Warren, 11th and first female Chief Justice of Victoria. Notable current staff member, Waleed Ali, Muslim community leader. Oh dear Lord. Kate Burridge, linguist. John Brumby, former Premier of Victoria. Kevin Coghill, former Speaker of the Parliament of Victoria. Michael Cowley, physiologist. Raymond Finkelstein, former Justice for the Federal Court of Australia. George Hample, former Justice of the Supreme Court of Victoria. Constant News, authority on early medieval thought. What on earth is that? Yu Quan and no, and G. Economist Graham Pearman, climate change scientist. Jessica Borger, T-cell immunologist. Andrew, oh my goodness, this is like a farm. This is what the farm is, guys. You need to look at your politicians and your, what the hell have they got a unicorn in there for? See, the things you find just by looking. Look at all these, oh my goodness. Okay, let's keep going anyway. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Graham Pearman, climate change scientist. Jessica, yeah, I read that. Andrew Prentice, mathematician. Kathy Temin, artist. John Thwaites, environmentalist. Former Deputy Premier of Victoria, Christopher Weramantry. Judge and former Vice President of the International Court of Justice. Bukhard Polster, mathematician and mathematics communicator. I should just go through the schools. This guy is an absolute hanker with a W instead of the H. Who else can we look up? I am going to do a bit of a dig. Somebody asked me about a week ago if I could look up Harold Holt, which I will do. Who else have we got? I can't even... Palachuk? Oh, this one. Palachuk. She can say her name's Palajay all she likes, but I'm going to call her Palashuk. She's Polish. Australian politician. Why are we allowing, like... Is she an Australian citizen or is she a Polish citizen? Because we shouldn't be allowing anyone who's not Australian and been in this country for many years to stand for any part of any government. Okay. She was raised in Brisbane. Her father was born to Germany, and Germany to Polish parents. Let's have a look at St Mary's College, Ipswich. Notable alumni, Anastasia Palazuk, Leanne Neal, Australian swimming silver medal Olympian, and Louise Willis, an ABC National News editor. Isn't that interesting? Where else did she go to school? She went to the University of Queensland. Are there any notable alumni from there? Sorry guys, but this is what I'm looking at first because you get the most information. No. Oh yes. Okay. Peter Doherty, who was a recipient of a Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, recipient of the Triple Crown. Okay, Jeffrey Rush, triple Grammy Award winning musician. Tim Monroe, former Chief Justices of Australia, Sir Gerard Brennan and Sir Harry Gibbs, international not-for-profit Here and Say founder, and the Order of Australia, Dimity Dornan is a speech pathologist, author, and businesswoman in Australia. Okay, King's College London. Edward Byrne, singer and Eurovision representative. Dami Im, former CEO of Dow Chemical. Andrew N. Leveris. First female Governor-General of Australia, Quentin Bryce. Singaporean Minister, Lee Boon Yang. Consecutive Olympic gold-winning medalist, David Thiel. Highly cited epidemiologist, Graham Colditz. International best-selling author, Kate Morton. And CEO of MS Research Australia and Harvard Club of Australia, Dr. Matthew Miles. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, who was the mother and father? Okay. Henry Parler. Let's have a look. 4 daughters. He was a member of Parliament, served on numerous committees, including the Estimates Committee and Standing Orders Committee. When the Goss Labor government was re-elected in 1995, the Labor caucus nominated Palashchuk for Speaker to replace the sitting Labor. Labor later voted for Furus in Parliament. However, due to fears that Furus would be re-elected as Speaker with support of National Liberals, wanting to avoid the controversy of Furus crossing the floor to elect himself as Speaker, Labor decided to support him instead of Palashchuk. When the BT Labor government was elected in 1998, okay, so he was born in Germany to Polish parents. His family moved to Queensland when he was young. Prior to entering politics, he earned a diploma of education citation needed and became a school teacher. So they don't have a citation. Okay, a diploma of education, often abbreviated to DIP-ED or Grad Dip-ED, is a postgraduate qualification offered in many Commonwealth countries, including Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. And as of today's standards, without having the paperwork, he wouldn't have been able to become a school teacher, or would he? Are they just letting anybody in, you know? But if you're just a normal person, oh, you've got to go through the rigmarole to get there. So, okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today because it will just go on and on and on. But I will be doing one on Harold Holt. And in the meantime, I'll still be reading the news because it might take me a few extra days because I'm still reading the news. But I do want to keep up with everything that's going on right now. And I have a funny feeling that as you wake up in the US today, something may come out. I don't know for sure. I'm just, you know, spitballing here, so you can take what I say with a grain of salt. But definitely go and watch Karen Brewer, The Bush Telegraph with Karen Brewer. She is an amazing lady. She knows her stuff. She's been researching the one thing for 2 years, which is what I didn't do. I sort of researched a bit of everything. So I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but not a lot about certain stuff. Unless it's the board, and then I know a fair bit from that. But other than that, because I was looking at that for 3 years, so I do know a little bit about that. So yeah, let me know what you think down below, guys. Well, and I honestly, please go and search for your politicians, especially the higher up ones. I think you'll find the same thing. Go down to where they went to school. And normally they're highlighted, you can click on them. So click on the schools and you can go to the universities as well. And this, the Chevenix Scholarship is an international scholarship scheme which enables students with leadership qualities from over 160 countries and territories to undertake postgraduate or study or courses in universities in the United Kingdom. So yeah, have a look at your politicians, go have a look at their early life and education, click on the school and go to notable alumni and see who came out of that same school. You'll get to know who these schools are that are pretty much run by Freemasons, I believe, and that they teach these children, well, first they abuse them and teach them to abuse other people, and then they put them in positions of power. I mean, how upside down is that? How screwed up is that? Okay, guys, do let me know. I hope you have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.